intlx Solutions, founded by engineers valued for our expertise. So what is this video today that we're going to be collaborating on? Our trouble today is our synchronization between our communication manager and system manager is failing. And if you don't know what this is basically how system manager gets its database pull from communication manager, and it does this on a nightly basis. So I've actually staged this issue intentionally to replicate the issue that we found in one of our customers, and you can see here that the incremental sync has failed. And if you look, it stopped right on failed synchronizing board, directory board. And you've probably seen this, there's Avaya articles out there about it, but this one was a little bit different and unique, and I thought it was worth sharing. So let's start off by seeing which of our systems are failing synchronization. And that communication manager is going to be this guy right here. Let me close some extra windows there. And there we go. So I'm in my primary communication manager. Let's get into the SAT terminal. And we're going to do list directory, and we'll do board. And in this case, our directory boards are actually media servers, and the only one that's running right now is M1. And I'm pointing this out because I already know what the issue is because I staged the issue. But one of the issues that that we encounter is if there's duplicate announcements. And you can see right here, there's two at the bottom, really long announcement R, and really long announcement R again. But I don't have any announcements named really long announcement R, so what's happening there? I don't know where this X comes from. I think it's actually the system kind of marking it like this is too long. And when I say it's too long, it exceeds the announcements character limit. So if I do add announcement next, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So that's our character limit. And I think what happens here is that when it exceeds it, and I don't think it's documented, if anybody knows, let me know in the comments, but I think when it's longer than 27 characters, it's going to mark it as an X like this. We saw the same behavior in our customer system. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go into my media server, and let me pull up my password here. See, these are the things that get edited out. You don't have to watch. It's me pulling passwords and stuff out of the system. There we go. Hopefully this one works. Perfect. So if we scroll down here on the bottom, go to the media management. There's our content namespace where all of our announcements live. We hit browse. Click on our announcements, and we can see we have really long announcement record, a really long announcement recording, and both of those are going to exceed the 27 character limit length. I think this one is 20, I think this one's in the 30s, and this is the high 20s. And let's see if it'll let me copy and paste it into the word counter. Nope. It will not. It put my password in there. Alright, so we have two announcements in there. They're too long. And how did I find this? How do we come to the conclusion that there was an announcement issue? Well, first clue is that it says failed directory board. But the next clue is the thing that you have to find, or clue that you have to uncover, is which announcement is it? And if you have a system with thousands of announcements, which a lot of customers do, that can be pretty laborious to try to find it. So what we want to do is we want to go into the logs. This is the system manager, and we'll navigate to var log Avaya management iptcm sync. All right, and in this directory we have debug logs that are going to kind of clue us in. And I know it's not in this one because I've already looked, and you can see that there's two debug logs. One rolled over to another. This is a fresh one, and here's our log that we're interested in. If you don't know, what you can do is you can either open up each one, or you can kind of grep for key terms, but if we don't know what key term to grep for, we have to open them up. So let's open it up, and then we can record that key term for the future if we run into this issue again. So I'm going to VI the debug log here, and let's open this up. Well, let's see here. I'll go to the bottom of the file. Yeah, right out of the bat, right at the bottom here, we can see it. So we have some PSQL exceptions, duplicate key value violates unique constraint, and then directory board, CM, ID, file name, key, and then we can actually see our file name right there. It says that it already exists. So it's kind of keying us in that we have an issue there with duplicate file names. And that's the interesting part, right? It's not really duplicate. If you went in here and actually looked at the announcement files, they aren't duplicated in the sense that we have two that are the same name. If you're looking at this, you're like, wow, there's no duplicates in here. Well, according to CM there is, because I think what CM does is it cuts down to the 27th character, and that lands somewhere before record and recording. So if I do, let's see, let me bring this over here to the side, and I'll type it out since it won't let me copy and paste it. There we go. There's no good spot for it. Really long announcement recording. Alright, so we're 34 characters in at recording. When we get to 27, we're 24 there. Announcement re is where we stop at 27. Let's see if that's where it stopped here. Not quite, unless I'm really long. I think I spelled that right. I don't know why it doesn't show all 27 characters here. Maybe it's because the X is filling the space and pushing it out of the way. So my takeaway from this is, if you see something in here with an X on it, you know, that's probably going to be the one that you're going to be targeting. And what happens here is we have two different file names, but because the system, I think, is cutting the name of the file, they become duplicates. So how do we fix this? Let's go ahead and just delete these, because these aren't being used in my lab. They're not being used. You'll definitely want to confirm that in your particular scenarios if you run into that. Delete both of those, confirm. And you know what? If we were going to go back in here and actually look for a keyword, let's see what we would want to look for. I would probably look for violates. That's a pretty unique word. Duplicate key, that's pretty unique. And if you just grep for it, and we will grep on duplicate key, put that in quotes, and then the file name, it's just going to tell you the line, or it's going to match the line and kind of spit out the match for duplicate key, but it's not going to go to the next line and tell you what that is. So you do need to VI the file. I'm sure there's some Linux commands you could substitute to pull that out, but it's just quicker for me to go in here, VI the file. If you hit Shift G, it'll go to the bottom of the file. Double G goes to the top of the file. If you want to search from the top down, you can do /, and we can just cut and paste our, oh, that's not it. We can just search for words in here like key or duplicate key, and it will find that for us. And if we hit enter and hit N, it'll go to the next match. And now you can see search hit the bottom, continuing at the top. So if I want to search in reverse, you know, going from the bottom of the file up, I can do a question mark, and we'll do duplicate key. And again, you hit enter, and then next it's going to search from the bottom up. And there we go. So now that we know what our file is, we have them deleted. Let's see if that fixed our issue. To get out of VI, you do escape, and then colon, exclamation point, or bang, and enter. Try that again. There we go. So let's go ahead and try to synchronize it now. just coming, if you're not familiar with where this screen is, it's under Services, Inventory, Synchronization, Communication System. And we'll go ahead and do another incremental sync and hit Now. And this goes pretty quickly. If you do the initialization, what that does is it kind of wipes out the System Manager, Communication Manager database part of the System Manager, or the database that relates to Communication Manager, and just kind of refreshes it with a fresh pull. It wipes it out and pulls a brand new one. If you do an initialization, you'll notice things like, if you go under Communication Manager and go to Endpoints and Manage Endpoints, you'll see all the endpoints disappear because it's rebuilding the database from a fresh pull out of Communication Manager. In this case, we're just going to try doing incremental, and there we go. We can see that it completed successfully this time. Let's do a refresh there. Completed. And finished synchronizing directory board. 8 instances, and we have a status of completed instead of failed now. So that's good. So I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit of a collaboration, open dialogue, sharing ideas and troubles that we run into during our day-to-day troubleshooting efforts with our customers, or a lot of times even just in the lab. If you like this, give the video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, and I'll keep them going. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. intlx Solutions, empowering people, connecting businesses.